Welcome to Valentina Design Universe. I am Valentina Cirasola. I'm your host, and today's show is about in the wild. Someone here will talk to us about the wilderness he paints so well. His name is Edward Rooks and is a wildlife artist and naturalist. So let's welcome Edward Rooks. Welcome, Edward.
Thank you, Valentina.
I'm so happy you're here tonight.
Well, it's wonderful to be with you.
Thank you. So I detected a very sexy accent. Tell me, where are you from?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All the way from there.
Yep.
Were you born there?
I was. My great-grandparents were born there.
Okay.
Yep.
And when did you decide, or what made you decide to come to United States?
Well, I was working in Trinidad and met a wonderful woman from Connecticut who needed to be up in the U.S. where she had a job as a teacher. Mm-hmm. And so I moved up to be with her. Very
nice. So you are a wildlife artist. What prompted you to start a painting career for animals?
When I left Trinidad, I had a job and the art was just a sideline. You know, I was working at a nature center called Asa Wright Nature Center up in the rainforests and helping the manager there as an assistant manager. And when we married, I decided, well, I'm going to give it a try because that's my passion. And I did my best and kept at it. Of course, I make a lot of money as an artist, so mm-hmm. what I do is I teach on the side. I've worked as a steward at a research facility up here in San Jose, up in the mountains, that belongs to the University of California. Mm-hmm. And I've done other things on the side, but basically trying to keep with the art.
You have been an artist most of your life, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
So I've seen your paintings. They are beautiful. They are so real. Mm-hmm. To me, it's just like, I don't paint like you do. I paint, but mm-hmm. I don't.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, but my career as a designer just put me in the frame. I used to be a very free artist, mm-hmm. not any longer, because my career put me in 2 dimensions. You know, I draw things that they have to be to scale and measured and so very structured.
Wow.
So now I can't do things like that anymore. And if I will do that, how that I see now on the screen is like it's going to be a very abstract. Okay. How do you do it? What makes you be so precise?
Well, it's my love for nature, and I've always been a shell collector, butterfly collector, and butterfly watcher now. I don't collect anymore. But bird watcher, you know, and I grew up swimming in the oceans of Trinidad, and mm-hmm. you can see one of the paintings. A lot of these are marine paintings, which is not usual for me. It's mostly birds, mm-hmm. but insects. And so I grew up learning these things and needing to learn them. It was more than just a passion, it was a drive. And I knew a lot of folks who were scientists. My wife is a scientist. She studies insects. Mm-hmm. And so I learned a lot through them, through attrition, not through schooling or anything. And I just needed to tell the stories that I was so moved by when I was out in the wilds, looking at a toucan being chased by snakes or mobbing the snakes, you know, or insects that were battling with each other or chewing off branches like somebody had cut it with a knife. Oh. And I just wanted to capture some of that wonder that I feel, the exploration, I needed to tell it through their eyes mm-hmm. and make it specific, because these were specific birds, specific snakes.
Exactly. So it's just not everything. It's just very specific nature.
Yeah.
And so what do you do with, your wife is a scientist and of insects, you said?
Insects. She studies insects.
So what do? You sit together and you explain each part of the insect is right or correct or not correct, on your painting? Does she tell you you're missing a leg here or an antenna? I have no idea.
Yes. Well, I do illustrate for her. I do illustrations for scientists sometimes.
Okay.
And so, yes, she will tell me if something's incorrect. But, you know, normally I have the specimen in front of me and I'm trying to elaborate on the behaviors, maybe the background, environment as well.
Right.
But I have reference. I always use good reference because good reference means, you know, the painting will be better.
So that comes kind of makes me think, do you know, when artists depict portrait people,
Yes.
or still life is still, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't move. People, when they are having the portrait done, they sit still and they don't move for hours until the painter is done. How do you keep your animals in the same position?
Well, there are a number of tricks that we use, but now we have photography, which is such a blessing, and now we have Google Images.
Okay.
In the old days, when I first started this, there were no personal computers.
Right.
You know, I was doing research in the library, getting books and looking through every book that could possibly have the images I needed to help me, going to museums and getting them to show me stuffed animals in drawers if I had to, insects in drawers. So getting this reference was much more difficult, but now it's a lot easier, and I can stop motion that way, see behaviors that way, field sketching. That's another way to do it. So I am out in the field with my camera taking photographs, sketching if I can, but the camera captures so much more information. I'm taking thousands of photographs.
So you must have an archive of millions of pictures.
Well, literally hundreds of thousands anyway. I don't think I've hit the million mark yet, but I do have on my computer at the moment almost 200,000.
Oh my goodness. So have you ever repeated the same birds or fish or?
In my paintings? If I have a commission, yes. There's certain birds that are popular, like the California quail, the bald eagle. There's certain birds that I've painted multiple times. The toucan in Trinidad, when I have clients in Trinidad, they will, several of them have asked for toucans. Yeah.
Toucans are so pretty.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
They're so gorgeous. I really love
They're
those
predators.
paintings. Yeah, they are?
They eat baby birds.
Oh my, really?
They eat fruit too, though.
Oh my, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
It's quite exciting being out there.
Wow.
See these things.
The wild is wild. The wilderness.
It is.
You know. So you have been very successful all your life, and you've had a lot of awards and accolades. What did you get through your career? Did you get? I know every award is important. But is there one that you care the most, or?
I can't think of any. Most are just awards you get while being juried in an exhibition, say, and you get a first place or second place award and that sort of thing. I've had awards from the Fish and Game for competitions that they've had. You know, I've had awards from my schooling from the university for graphics, and you know, you get different awards for different things. I've done one of my wine labels, my artwork was on a wine label, won an international award. That was nice.
Very nice.
So each of them have.
Can we say what wine is, or is not?
It burned up in a fire. That whole winery, that whole vineyard.
Wow.
Yeah, Mount St. Helens area.
Oh, they were here, the winery here, locally.
In Calistoga, yeah.
Oh my. That's a nice
I
thing.
don't know that the painting survived it. I would doubt it.
Yeah. Wow. So I wanted to ask you, you know, now you are a successful artist, and has it been time when you, at the beginning, because the life of an artist is not always a very successful one, not at the beginning at least.
That's very true.
Right?
It's very difficult. And we're not businessmen.
Was there a time where you thought of packing up everything, wrap it up, and say, I do something else.
How many times?
Really?
But you can't not do it. It's like you've spent your whole life developing a talent, a skill. You've gotten good at it, and you have all these goals that you set for yourself, and most of them are to improve your art. It's not so much, making money.
Right.
That's not what drives me at all. It's trying to capture what I've seen out in nature, and it's an exploration of my own ability as an artist. And it's an ongoing process that I just can't jump off of the bandwagon that easily. It's
I hear
not
that.
done.
Yeah.
It's what I'm good at. My superpower, as they say.
Well, we should have one, because that make us driving somewhere.
Right.
It make us go somewhere. If you have that superpower,
Yeah.
you get things done.
Yeah.
I call it passion.
It is passion.
But, people call it whatever they want to call it, but still, it does the same thing.
Yeah, it certainly gives you a sense of accomplishment. And
Absolutely, yeah. So this is what drives you to get up in the morning and do things, right?
Definitely.
You always have a particular painting in mind that you will start on that day, for instance.
Well, yeah, you always have a project that is ongoing, and one that's coming up. And if you don't have a commission at the moment, you're doing something else. And on top of that, you're exploring. So I'm looking into doing the paint pouring, where you pour these wetter paints onto a canvas that's spinning, and it pours out, and it has something like a silicone in it that causes it to pool into these cells of color.
Right.
So I want to try that, and then maybe apply it as a background effect in some of my paintings. I want to do space art. I love reading science fiction, so I'm always inspired that way, and I haven't ever had a chance to do it, really. I would love to try that. So
Space art, will that include wildlife too, or?
Why not? I can recreate my own world.
Absolutely. I mean, so far we know that in space there are no animals, at least.
Yet. There's probably billions.
That there are other cultures up there, other humans, who knows, maybe. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. So, do you have any kids?
No kids.
No
No,
kids.
we weren't able to.
What would you say to someone who has kids, or to kids? What would you encourage them with? Would you tell them to be an artist, or what would you tell them?
Well, if they had the drive that I had, they couldn't help it. And I had a parent, both parents, who encouraged me, and I'm blessed that way. My father was very encouraging, got me the easel that's right here behind me back in the 70s.
Nice.
Okay, so he got me, everything I needed when I needed it, and the encouragement was more than I can ever thank him for. It was everything.
So you would encourage a kid to become an artist, because nowadays it just doesn't
pay.
Look like
It doesn't pay, but it can pay for those who are exceptionally talented and have that sort of Wyeth appeal. They have something that people pick up on, and it ends up in a museum, and maybe has a museum built around it. So there are always those talents that need to be out there, but also for everybody else, and all of us are artists, the way we dress, the way we comb our hair, we have aesthetics, and so we need to encourage everybody to have music, to have dance, this is part of who we are as human beings. And my painting has become my forte, but it's something that I think if I didn't have it, there would be a hole.
I believe so. I believe it is the same thing for me too. If I don't work with colors, not even one day, it feels like there is no sun.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of colors, so do you.
Yes.
So to me, are just like, how can you live in just one color?
An artless world.
And many people do anyway. So many people do.
Yeah, I fear, you know, that we've lost so much of our art because we need to make a living, and we're driven to make a living and to make money.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's what drives the society. It's unfortunately money.
Mm-hmm.
And many people don't see that art is a pursuable career, but I'm totally...
But it is something that my aunt has kept going, and she's in her 80s now.
Very
And
nice.
she still paints, and she runs a gallery and so forth. So I think it has a place, even if it doesn't have the priority,
Right.
you know, that some people would like.
Sure.
I think that we should all encourage people.
Absolutely. And I have another question about interior, for instance. It has been a long time. I have seen, as a designer, I've seen a study room. I would place these beautiful wildlife in a study room because they're peaceful. They are, you feel like you are in the nature while you're studying, reading, concentrating. And the colors are so evocative of, like this one, the marine, the sea. Or at times in your paintings you can feel the weather too.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I've seen some of your paintings. I'm very enamored of your paintings. I can
Thank you.
feel the weather. Like this one, for instance, you see that on the screen?
Yes, I do.
I feel the heat of that place, the warmth, and maybe there is a sea nearby, and so very colorful. So I would put something like that, because to me that is, even though it's so colorful, but it's very restful. I see it in a study room, but nowadays people don't have study room anymore.
Right.
They don't have libraries anymore because most of the people read on a tablet.
Yes, a lot
and those who don't, they read iPhone.
Yes.
So where would you place
Well, I
one
have
of your paintings?
I have art all around my house: living room, dining room, kitchen, bathroom, hallway.
I have paintings in my bathroom too. Yes.
Yeah. So I of course have not enough room for all my paintings.
Right.
So a lot of them are in the garage, and I, you know,
well,
move
because
them
you
around.
produce them, so that's, you know, it's easy for you to accumulate.
Yes.
You produce them, but if someone wants to buy your paintings, where would they put them? Where would you suggest them to put them?
Well, everybody has their own spot in mind, usually when they have commissioned me for a painting. And so in some cases, I've actually been to the house. It'd be a staircase, going up the staircase, and there'd be like 8 paintings in one case that I commissioned. Sometimes it's just that little space on the kitchen wall where I can only fit a painting this big.
Yeah.
But, you know, some people just don't have the room anymore. And I'll have to move something. But so I don't know that there's any particular space. But if somebody tells me that they have space above the couch and they need a big thing, I might do a triptych or a diptych or a big painting that would fit, you know, what they need and the color palette that they need.
Has it ever happened to you that people buy your painting because they want to match it to their decor?
Sure.
They do.
But they also have a theme like St. Lucia in the Caribbean, so, or Guyana, Kaito Falls, which I've done. So, yeah.
Have you ever thought of producing some of these beautiful, colorful paintings for some fashion clothing?
I have thought about it. You know, you get these emails from people that you don't know that are encouraging you to put your designs in for clothing and stuff like that. And I've thought about it very seriously because I would love to do that. I won that graphics award because I enjoy doing graphics. But
I see it mostly as, some of your painting, I see it as fabric for interiors.
I could very easily jump on that bandwagon. You know me, I love experimenting, and I
would love to see something like that. Absolutely. And not only fabric for the interiors, but also wearable art.
Yes.
You know, imagine those long summer dresses.
Yes.
Based on, I mean, the white. There is a white fabric, and then inside the white there is an explosion of color.
Yes. I love
you imagine something like that.
Can.
Beautiful. And I also can see very elegant dresses for the evening. Oh.
There's a lot of inspiration in nature for elegance and extreme surprise beauty.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. I think you should do that.
I would love to. If anybody has any suggestions for contacts.
Well, I have suggestion. Maybe next time, I get you on the show again, you can, or you will be able to show some of these ideas, and it'll be nice,
That would be wonderful.
Like also another thing that it comes to mind, the floor cloth.
Floor cloth?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of floor cloth.
Floor cloth, they're not carpets or rugs like this, but they are area pieces.
And they're heavy duty?
They're heavy duty, done on vinyl, see, something like that for the penguins.
Oh, right.
And they're very duty, very, very heavy duty. The materials, vinyls, and I wouldn't say it's indestructible because it's for the floor.
Yeah, but that's okay.
But
that's fun.
It's fun. You can make floor cloth to be really, really attractive.
Right.
Yeah. So there is a various application of your wild paintings.
I'm thinking of environments now. You have my head turning.
Oh boy, yes, yes, absolutely. Why not? It's that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Create, invent, and pass it along to other people.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
do you have a word of advice that you would give to youngsters about your profession?
I can only say that if you are driven to the arts, you have to stick with it. You want to just keep practicing, develop your talent, develop a portfolio that you can show people, and you never know when somebody is going to notice. So
portfolio is still done on paper, photography, or how is a portfolio?
I went to school when there were no personal computers, so we had a physical portfolio, but I'm sure I've taken a lot of jobs through email and so forth, which is a lot easier than lugging the paintings around.
Because nowadays, I mean, if I see a portfolio of someone with a paper, I wouldn't even consider it. Nowadays, it's all on DVD.
Digitals.
You put it on a flash drive and you take it with you, and it's all boom. You put that in a computer, and it's flashing right there in front of you.
It's a different world now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm an analog guy.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's if it works for you, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have any future plans for your career?
Well, to keep on with what I'm doing, and like I said, I'll be experimenting with new techniques and so forth. But just trying to get by day. Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, it's. I think that's the formula for success.
Yeah. I go to exhibitions. I work at places like Filoli, where I get some.
You exhibit in Filoli?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And keep in touch. Just keep moving out, and let people know you're still alive, you're still producing, and.
Well, that's the key of the success: getting up in the morning and be able to do what you want to do. That's what I call success.
Yeah.
Whether you sell or not, whatever it is that you're making, it's not secondary. It's also important, but just getting up and do what you need to do or want to do. That's
everything.
It's everything.
Yeah.
And then obviously you take a different view of life because you're creating something that is yours.
Yeah, it takes a lot of the stress out of life, but it also brings a lot of joy and fulfillment.
So I see another of your painting. It's beautiful. It's absolutely.
That was the wine label I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's the winery, and that's Mount St. Helens behind it.
Very
and
nice.
That whole place burned up.
Well, it makes me want to drink some wine now.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
That's the Johnston's Vineyards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, well, it's, I'm not sure. I think we will need few minutes. We have just few minutes left. So would you want to say something that we have not mentioned yet?
I'm not sure. I can talk a little bit about how I go about painting these, what they are. It's, in these cases here, they're canvases.
Right.
And so I've done acrylic.
These are
paintings.
acrylics. Okay.
Yes. And each is based on an experience. I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago. The one over here was when I used to go spearfishing as a boy. I don't do that anymore, but I still go diving down there. It's beautiful. And that's a hawksbill turtle. And then this one is in Jenna in California. And in the evening, we were walking on the beach, and these seals pulled up on the beach at dusk and seemed to be getting ready for the night, staying out on shore.
So you took a picture of them? And
I took pictures, lots of pictures, as always.
Okay.
And then at home, I tried to recreate the feeling or the mood.
Yeah.
And then this is, over my shoulder here, is some Gentoo penguins in Antarctica. I was an eco tour. I was one of the guides on Cheeseman Ecology Safaris in Antarctica, and they take people down there. And I used to go down for a month with them, and then we would go out in boats, drive around the icebergs. I would drive a boat and have 12 people with me, and we'd see these gentoos in the water below me, and it would be like, the water is so clear, it looks like they're flying in outer space below you. It's just beautiful. Occasionally whales would come up.
Yeah.
And they have killer whales with them there, and the red animals are shrimp-like krill that they're eating.
Very nice.
So these are all experiences. These are all behaviors. These are all, trying to recreate a moment.
Well, we have 1 minute. I want you to explain briefly what this is, and then we need to close the show.
Oh, this is just a fun little object that I painted. It's Russian nesting dolls.
Yes.
Well, they're not so Russian.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that's noisy.
So
but
you painted each one?
I did paint each one. This is a great horned owl on the outside, and then an acorn woodpecker from California.
Nice.
And inside that, you got a tanager, and inside that, a finch, and inside that, a hummingbird.
There we go. Nice. Very nice.
So that's just a fun little object that I can do for folks who are interested in something fun for Christmas or whatever.
Yes. Very nice. Well, it has been a pleasure to have you here, Edward. I hope next time you will come around, you will have a new idea to show us.
That would be nice. Thank you.
And we need to wrap the show. So I want to thank the crew here that helped me making the show every time. Beautiful people. I want to thank you for being here with us and explain your life as an artist. And as I say every time, change your colors, you will change your life vibrations. Mwah. Peace, love to everyone.